I'm excited.
So just to let you know, we are going to record this meeting so that the folks here who can't participate can still learn from your questions. And we are also using the live transcription service. So know that you will see the captions, but because they are automated within the system, it might not catch all of our words with 100% accuracy. You can turn those off at the bottom of your screen if you do not want to see them. They should be under the hide captions option. But we'll let the folks who are popping on just have a few minutes to get connected, and then we will start. This is super informal, so as you guys have questions, feel free to pop in, have fun. If others have questions that are looking for resources that you may have, feel free to pop in and share those too. This can be a really lively discussion and help build new relationships and connections amongst the individual artists in our community too. So make sure to take advantage of that opportunity. Let's see, I see a few more that are still trying to connect to audio.
Love to see everyone rolling in. Goodness gracious.
I know. If only all of my meetings were this well attended.
So this is kind of weird. I've never used Zoom before, so I'm sitting here going, okay, who are these people?
Oh my goodness, it's so fun to use Zoom. You get to meet so many people that you wouldn't necessarily meet initially just because of either distance or time. It's a fantastic resource. I mean, specifically, I started using it because of the pandemic, but ever since, my goodness, it has some fantastic uses.
Yeah, as we're waiting on folks to join in, feel free to introduce yourself, and we'll get started here in just a moment.
I'll get the ball rolling just in case, people don't know. So my name's Laura Coley, and I am the marketing coordinator for United Arts. One of my main positions is running Orlando at Play, which is a free resource to our community. So anytime you have an event or anything that you want to share and need a little bit of extra marketing help on, you could submit it on Orlando at Play. And then I get to take the wheels and I market it for you. And I do a little bit of social media marketing. I do our weekly newsletter, which goes out to about 12,000 subscribers. And then all of that information also gets filtered into our Orlando Arts magazine, which we send out to our entire community. So fantastic free resource that all of you are able to use. If you ever have any questions about it, you're definitely welcome to send me an email. I love working one-on-one with people because it can be a little bit confusing. And I like knowing that you've used it to the best of your ability, because there are so many features on there, depending on what you're looking for. And really, like I said, it's just a free resource to make sure that your marketing is reaching even more people.
Great, thanks, Laura. And I guess for those of you who I haven't met, either via email, phone, in person, my name's Elyse. I'm the Grants Program Officer here at United Arts. I'm part of our outreach team, and we are really building funding and outreach programs that are impactful, sustainable, equitable, and approachable to the community. And these are the individual artist grants is one of the programs that we're excited to be relaunching. Upon coming to United Arts, they had put a pause for almost a decade on individual artist grants. And so we're very excited to be relaunching this program and to have it become a permanent part of our funding portfolio. So thank you all for taking the time this evening to join us and to learn more about this opportunity. For those of you who are just joining, I do want to let you know that we are recording today's webinar. We wanted those who aren't able to participate tonight to still be able to learn from the great questions that you guys are asking and from any resources and interactions that are shared here tonight. We are also using the live transcription service within Zoom. So know that it might not catch everyone's words with 100% accuracy, but we want to be as accessible as possible in the resources that we're providing. I do have a couple of common questions that have been rolling in so far, but this is really a time for you guys to ask any questions that you've had as you're looking through the application. If you have any questions about how to navigate the grants portal, if you're looking for resources, this is a time to ask those questions. And this can really be a lively discussion. If there are artists who might have some of those resources or have connections that folks are looking for, feel free to pop in and share those. Not only is this a great Q&A setting, but it's also a great way to build relationships among the artist community here. So again, thank you for spending your time. And I know that I can't see everyone's hands, but is anyone having questions or challenges with navigating where to find our grant information, like our guidelines? Anyone have questions about how to navigate the website or the grants portal? And I see one hand raised. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify, going through the email and seeing the different resources available, and would all that information more or less be directed towards like Elyse? Or
yes.
Okay, so then where it says for questions, contact the grants program officer on through that link, because when I click on the link, it more or less just brings up a draft for the email. Is there like a direct hyperlink I can click to take me to the guidelines to see the different rules, one fits all, more or less?
Yep, so let me share my screen with you all. Let's see.
Thank you.
Okay, and can you guys hear me now? And are you seeing the website?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. When you go to unitedarts.cc, you will see this homepage. If you come up here to this top bar and hit on United Arts Grants, you'll be taken to our grants site. And on this table lists all of our funding programs. The individual artist grant is the fourth item in this table. And if you're in this third column, documents column, here is, like within there is that link to our guidelines. So if you click on that, it'll open up the guidelines for the program. And all of all the important documents live here. So including the step-by-step guide on how to create your grant portal account. Foundant, who runs our platform, has some great tutorials on how to navigate your applicant portal and dashboard. And I can also show you guys how to do that really quick. It has a checklist for everything you'll need to pull together for the application, the full guidelines, a preview of all the questions, and then some handy resources that we've pulled together. Resources on how to write an artist statement, as well as creating project budgets. So all of those are linked there for your use in crafting this application.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Would it be helpful to see how to navigate your applicant dashboard once you've created that account?
Yes.
All right.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Elyse. I'm gonna go on mute now.
Okay, you're good. So when you log in to the our grants portal, which from this page you can access anytime up here by clicking this orange button. When you sign in, you'll land on a page that looks just like this, and this is called your applicant dashboard. Depending on if you've had applicants in the past, you might see any active requests or historical requests that you might have here. But to apply for the new individual artist grant, what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to this apply button. You're going to select that, and you will see all of the opportunities that we have that are currently accepting applications. You're lucky in the fact that the individual artist grant is the first one on that list. So you'll be able to see the important information. You can link to the guidelines again. Here's a list of some of the important documents. And the important thing is that it might be tempting to come down here and say preview this form. You can do that and see the application. It'll even let you fill in answers. But don't complete your application under the preview button. And you guys aren't seeing it, are you?
I was about to say, let's do a quick pause. I might be frozen, but I am still on the United Arts grant screen. Is anyone else on a different screen than that?
There we go.
Oh, now
Did it switch?
All right, there we go. Let's talk about this one more time because we were not looking at the right screen.
Yep, nope. We are going to do this again.
There we go. Thank you so much.
Let's see. Okay, you guys are seeing the applicant dashboard?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so this is what your page looks like when you log in.
I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. From the individual grants, I click on apply to get to where you're at.
Yeah, so when you log in, you'll see your applicant dashboard, and you'll hit this apply button up here, and that'll take you to a list of grants.
Okay.
And then what you'll see the important information is basically a condensed version of the guidelines. We do link to the complete guidelines here. You can preview the application by hitting this preview button, but do not fill out the application from the preview. It will let you submit answers, but it won't let you save those answers. So when you're ready to start your application, it is super important that you hit this apply button in the right-hand corner. And when you do, I can't see what you guys are seeing, so let me know if you're seeing. I was
about to say, I'm not seeing you moving around with your cursor like I know you typically would. Can we just ensure that you've got a live screen recording on?
Yeah, now I'm seeing stuff as well because it was like a gray screen for a second.
There we go. All right, I might interject a couple more times to make sure we're keeping up with you, Elyse, okay?
Yeah, I will say I was on a Zoom meeting earlier and I was moving much faster than what it was showing on Zoom. So let me know if it does not switch over fast enough. So if you are seeing the application now, you will see some tips and tricks and instructions. The important thing is to only have this application open in one tab on your computer at a time. If you have it open in more than one tab, you will likely lose everything you have worked on, and I don't want that to happen to anyone. So key tip number one is to only have it in one tab, but you will see the entire application here for you to fill out. I will say for each of the questions, we try to include what that character limit was, and then roughly approximately how many words that translates into. But know that you do not have to use all of the space that is provided. We know that character limits and word limits can be intimidating. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to turn those off. That's something that hopefully our portal software team found it and will give us the option to do in the future. But right now, we do not have the ability to do that. So as you're working through here, know that all of these answers, they have the rich text that is associated with that box. You can stylize the text in any way that you like, whether it's bold or you want to put bulleted lists or you want to underline. That's available to y'all. So use that if that's the style in which you are accustomed to writing. We want these applications to reflect you and your style. So know that doesn't have to be just big blocks of text. I do want to touch on the budget tables just for a second. Each of these lines will let you input what your income source is, if it's more than just what you're asking for from the United Arts grant. And so that will allow you to fill out what has been confirmed or projected. Remember to include anything that you think might become income as a result of your project. So if you are doing a play and you are going to be charging $10 per ticket, think about if you're having, room for 50, what would that look like in terms of income? And Arit, I see you have a question. And I think you're on mute.
Ooh,
I logged in and I'm getting something completely different.
You know why, Ori? You've been a panelist in the past. I will go in and add the applicant role to your profile. I think that's what's missing. Your account is set up as a staff or as a panel reviewer. I will go in and add the applicant role, so you'll see the applicant dashboard.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. The budget table. So it is broken down into three. Your income source, which is a text column, the amount, which needs to be in dollars, and then any notes that you want to provide. It will do all calculations for you, so you do not have to do any math on your budget. It will add that column for you, and the project expenses are the same way. I assume for most of y'all who are using this grant to solely using the grant funding that you're applying for, will have a very small income budget, but maybe more expansive expense table, but you fill it out the same way. What are those project expenses that you're projecting? How much do you think they are, and any notes that you would like to share? But as you guys are working through the table, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. But it is a newer feature within Foundant, so there's not a whole lot of experience that our grantees have had with this. So you guys are really one of the first cohorts of applicants to be working through that.
I just have a question more in regards to the program itself. I know you mentioned that it's been quite a while since the individual artist grant has been reinstated, right? Something like a decade. So in the past, what sort of, you mentioned a play. If, for example, I was interested in throwing a showcase of different artists and perhaps even building a pipeline where we go from individual songwriting and composing to producing the tracks and then performing them in the entire pipeline. That would be the program, more or less, to highlight different artists out of Seminole County. Could that be a particular program that could be pitched?
Yes, so there is no discipline restrictions on these grants. It's open to all disciplines. It's open to the production of new work, the presentation of work, training. There are 2 grants, both sponsored by Verizon. One is specifically for digital art and one specifically for literary art. But there again, it's open to all disciplines and even multidisciplinary projects. We really want our creative community to be able to grasp onto this and to really highlight their talents and start using this as a building block to say, how do we create a creative economy that allows our artists to thrive here in Central Florida?
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
That really answered the question.
Are there any other questions? Yes, Chase, I see your hand.
Yeah, so I'm planning on partnering with the Orlando Fringe for some of their productions that they're doing in the fall. The scope of my project is not so much me making a thing, but actually making a thing for other artists. I want to provide high quality video services for 3 productions that the Orlando Fringe presents through their fall season. That's a multicam shoot, all that stuff. My big question is, does everyone who's a part of those productions have to be a resident of Orange, Lake, Seminole County, the 4 counties, I think it is? Or can it just be me providing those video services as a resident of Orlando? And predominantly, one would hope, like, those productions are based in Central Florida.
Yeah, so it's you as the artist. If you are
Okay.
collaborating with other artists, you as like the key applicant and key awardee, that's whose residency
Okay.
requirements we would be looking at.
Cool. All right. Excellent. Excellent. And there was another thing, I think it was about the budgeting. You know what, if it comes to me, I'll ask probably directly through email the second this is over when I remember it.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah, totally.
We also have a couple of questions in our chat area. If you want to pull those up, or I can also read them out loud if you'd like.
Let's see. Yeah, so Kelly, to answer your question, she has a great question about do supplies need to be itemized or could it be a rough estimate? For the projected budget, if you know what it's going to be for a specific piece, go ahead and itemize that one. But for others that you don't, do some research. Feel free to give an estimate. The more detail that you're able to provide, the easier it makes it for panelists to review your application and understand what they're seeing in terms of how your narrative and budget coincide. I think it's helpful to think of your budget as an extension of your narrative. It highlights your values, where you're going to spend those funds, so what's important to your project, and how that aligns with the goals that you've set for what you're hoping to accomplish. So if you're as much detail as you're able to provide, the better off it'll be. On the back end, we'll ask for how you spent the funds, knowing that there might be variance from what you've presented in your proposed budget. So another question is, what if the project is a little different from anything you've done in your art practice, and what should you do about work samples? If there are pieces of your project that are highlighted in specific work samples, what you can do is select those samples and say, focus on this aspect. This is the piece that relates to the project that I am proposing now. And that what that will allow the panelists to say, I'm seeing a complete project that they've done, so I'm understanding who they are as an artist, but I'm also taking this one specific component of this work sample and saying, this is the piece that's really important because it relates back to the project that's being proposed now. And what types of files can be uploaded? You know, pictures, so JPEGs, PNGs, audio. I think right now we have it set on anything goes. If you are using a highly specialized software, let's talk to see how that works, because we want to make sure that our panelists are able to open it when they're reviewing it, because that will be a key piece. You want them to be able to see the file size or the files. The question about file limits, yes. We tried to set them as large as we could. Each form can only have, I think it's 25, is it 25? 25 gigabytes, I think, of information uploaded with it. So if you have huge work files and work samples, what we might want to do is see if there's a place where we can host those, create a digital portfolio for you, and then in a text box link to that digital portfolio. So then it's not taking away from your file upload limit. I wish I could give everyone unlimited space, but unfortunately found it caps us off. Are there other questions? I see a couple hands raised. Orit, yep, you got 2 hands raised.
Hey, how are you? Sorry I got in a bit late.
Hey, Harry.
How are you doing, sweetheart?
Yep, no, you're good.
Okay.
I think Orit and then Derek have questions, so let's go there first. Orit, I think you're on mute.
Okay, sorry. I have a couple of quick questions. One is I created a detailed Excel budget, like where the numbers kind of with formulas and everything. Can I submit that as an appendix addendum in lieu of that online, or should I use both? Or that's one of the questions. The second question is, should I receive the grant, the timing of the receipt of the funds? Do I spend the money first and submit receipts and then get reimbursed later? And then the third question is about the having open variables in the application. For example, if I were to do an exhibit, but the venue has not yet been determined, I'm giving the type of a venue, and then the locations are within the parameter of the grant. Do the locations have to be within the grant area? Sorry, so many.
No, you're good. So for that first question, if you have a detailed budget that you've already put in a different format, feel free to send that to me and we will put that in your application. What it might look like is we'll upload it into the document section and panelists will be able to see that and we will direct them there.
Okay.
So that's taken care of. I will go in and enter maybe a few lines of that into the table because that will stop you from submitting the application, but don't feel like you have to recreate that whole budget again. The second question, if you have open variables, as you're writing your narrative, you can put in there whether a detail has been confirmed or you're awaiting confirmation, but just showing that you're working on it and that you've made connections and you're determining where that's going to be, um, shows that you are actively engaging in the process. And that adds to that piece of what is the likelihood that this project will be completed. So as much detail as you can, and you can just list things as it's confirmed or it's pending. Just kind of give that status. And the third question, yes, it needs to be within Lake Orange, Osceola, or Seminole counties, at least for the grant funding to be able to be applied to it. If you want to do, if you're using this work and you want to do a community piece or a community project outreach piece in Lake County, but you also want to do one in Polk, know that you can absolutely show your work in Polk, but our grant funds can't go towards that, but they can go towards the one in Lake.
Yes. Thank you.
I believe those were all three of your questions.
The third one was the timing of the funds. Do I put up the funds up front and then get reimbursed, or how does that work?
No, so we are going to give you a percentage of your funds up front so that you can buy any of the supplies you need, so you can do any of the training you need, so you can pay yourself for your time, so that you can pay your rent or any other expenses that you want. I believe we have it set now where the first 90% will come to you when you sign your grant agreement if you are awarded. And then the remaining 10% will be paid out with your final report. We want to make sure that this is actually giving you access and the funding you need to be supportive of the process. So we don't want it to be completely reimbursement based. Chase, I see a question, but I know Derek has had his hands up for a long time as well. So I'll go to Derek and then Chase.
Thanks. I think you kind of touched on what I was wondering, but essentially, I'm looking to make a film, and where the grant money would be used really is, the budget will be like in flux, and what I'd like to do is specifically fund pre-production, because those are the collaborators who are going to help me determine like what the budget will be. So it sounds like that's just somewhere I would mention that in a narrative, like, I don't know, some way to specify that this is really to lay the groundwork for what's coming next. And so as far as what it'll cost is kind of a spectrum. So just kind of in the narrative is where I specify that.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. There is also here a budget narrative piece underneath a table that says if there's something unique or unusual about your budget that you want us to know, use that space to do it. So there is space within the application that won't take away from your project description that'll allow you to address that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Chase, I know you had a question. You good?
Yeah. How much room for unknown variables are there in an application like this? Like, I know what I want to do, and I know sort of like the shape and the outline of it, but the particular color in the blanks details won't really be determined like hardcore until the grant's already been submitted.
Right. So because of COVID, we have learned to be flexible, adaptable, and changeable on a dime. I would say as much detail as you're able to give,
Okay.
The easier it is for panelists to be able to, again, see what you're thinking, but we all know that changes will happen. I think the important thing is to show that you are taking active steps in filling in those gaps and planning those processes and having that plan to show, again, that this project is likely to happen and be successful within the grant activity period.
Okay. All right. So if I just to be specific, I want to film, like I said, 2 or 3 very high quality multicam productions of a live stage performance that hopefully will partner with the Orlando Fringe. And they have a season that they're producing of stuff throughout the fall. I don't think that they even know what that season is yet. And presumably, a couple of those things actually might happen or be determined after the festival next month. So would it be in the realm of acceptable to say, I will partner with this entity and film 2 or 3 productions, but we just don't know what those are yet. But we will deliver. Here are the hard deliverables that we will have.
Absolutely. And one of the things
Okay.
I would say, Chase, that would help your application would be to have a letter of support from French.
Okay,
To the,
you got it.
Yep.
So, going off of what Chase had just said, in regards to my project, I had a similar performance-driven plan in mind, and with that, getting like building out a showcase and having a project plan written out with those like variables of who in particular from Seminole County would be highlighted in the showcase. Those are all things that could be determined post submission of the application. And as for like wanting to highlight these artists and getting them on board, like compensating them in terms of their performances, and all of that could be written as well for costs for the project.
Yeah, so what you would do would say who you're thinking of reaching out to and what steps you've taken to do that. So if you're saying, oh, there's this cohort of artists in Seminole County, and you know who your first 3 or 4 are that you want to contact, go ahead, share that information, share who they are, and say again whether these are the steps I've taken to build this. And then in your budget for their compensation, what you would do is say collaborative artist fees and then put that amount.
All right. Thank you so much for the clarification.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this program is, this discussion or the grant is about television, video, and music talents also? Would you fund musical instruments also?
So Harry, the individual artist grant doesn't have it's open to all disciplines. So it's not just film or video or music. It can be used for dance, visual arts, technology in the arts, textile and fabric arts. If there are fashion designers out there, this absolutely fits. If there are dancers and culinary artists, this also fits. So it is a very broad spectrum of disciplines and artistic disciplines that are covered. We really wanted it to serve the entire, arts community.
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Yep, Greg, I see your hand.
Yes, thank you. So how do I question this? Our situation is that there's a new not-for-profit theater opening soon here in Orlando, which is going to have many different facets. This grant, as I am well aware, will not fund anything to do with constructions, operating costs, or things like that. So basing our proposal on the creative force, the individual that is in charge of the creative forces, can we use it for multiple under his creative supervision, or do we need to specifically have one project?
So if you're asking if it can fund multiple projects under one artistic kind of a director's vision for his works, potentially, I think it would have to be, and I say this saying it wouldn't bother me, but I'm also not the one that scores these applications. So I've seen what multiple projects under one application have, how they've been reviewed by panels in the past. And there's always this question of, is it really more suited for a project grant versus an individual artist grant if they're trying to combine maybe a season's worth of artistic direction under one project? So that might be a question. If it's one work under kind of his artistic direction, I think it'll be an easier sell to the review panel.
Thank you. That answered the question.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
On the, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. This is Anthony, by the way. On the project eligibility restrictions, where it says commercial for-profit enterprises, can you dive into that a little bit more as far as looking from the aspect of being a painter? I paint abstract paintings.
Yeah, so what we mean by that, so first off, know that we are infusing National Endowment for the Arts funds into this program, and there are certain things that we are required to share that do not apply to individual artists, that are more for like organizations, because we can only fund nonprofit organizations. So this is one of those things. But for an individual artist, what it's saying is we are not going to hire a wedding singer to sing at someone's, or give a grant to a wedding singer to sing at someone's wedding. That's basically what it means. You can
I was kind of
sell the work that you make.
Yes, because I just saw where it said including concessions, food, clothing, artwork, and I was like, okay, well, I better ask about this one because, I mean,
no,
it's so broad. It's just so broad that it can be confusing if you don't get a definite definition of it.
Yeah, and this is one of those things. So as a local arts agency, United Arts is able to re-grant government funding. And that allows us to take funding from the National Endowment for the Arts that they distribute on a national level and deploy it here locally. With that, there are a series of guidelines and restrictions that we have to share that are more geared towards, again, nonprofit organizations who might be running a theater.
I understand.
Than an individual artist, but we're still required to share that. But that's a great question. If you are creating art and someone wants to buy said art at the end of this, sell your art, be able to have, again, that creative economy where you can thrive here at home, because that's what we want.
Absolutely. I appreciate your you really going into that in depth. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
As far as getting assistance or getting feedback, do I fill it in and then you see what I fill in, or do I send you a separate file?
Yeah, so I can see what you guys fill in on your application. So if you are filling out a section and you're saying, oh, am I answering this right? Does this make sense? Is it clear? Feel free to shoot me an email and say, hey, can you review this for me? I am more than happy to do that. All I ask is that you give me a couple days. So, definitely not August 23rd at 11:58 p.m. I won't be able to do it then, but if you give me a couple days lead time, I'll definitely be able to review those sections for you. I can also go in and help you troubleshoot things. If you're having trouble with documents uploading, with maybe the grant portal not loading right for you, I can go in and see where you might be getting stuck from that technical assistance side. So if you're running into any issues on that, feel free to reach out as well, and we can get that straightened out for you.
Okay.
Yep.
Elyse, I'm going to direct you right back to the chat so we can answer a couple more of those questions.
Great. Let's see, Harry. If you are you saying you want to do training for you, and then would you be able to use use the funding to buy the instrument? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm not going to give training. I'm looking to take training, take classes for myself for tabla class and the Indian classical singing, vocal. You know.
Yeah. So that's a great question. Whatever supplies that you purchase through this grant have to be able to be tied back to your project.
Okay.
So if your project is to take that course, and you need that to complete that training or course, you can put that down as a supply. I will say there is a community-facing component to this grant, so know that there will be a community impact section. So as you're thinking about how you're sharing your art out, Harry, you might also want to say, how do I share what I've learned in that training with the community? And just make sure that you have something in place for that piece of the project.
Okay. Well, you know, I promote the kids in the community and what we do. So whatever I learned in that, I think we do need some more teachers in tabla playing. And not too many people teach us Indian classical music. So that's what I want to get involved in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And are there examples of grant applications on the website? There are currently not. It has been about a decade since this grant has been open. I can see if I can find some of those old applications that are close to what we're asking for that scored highly. The state of Florida Arts and Cultural Affairs might also have some individual artist grant applications that they can share, but we will try and find some of those resources for you and link them on our website.
Please, I like to have, because I have some artists from Tampa and Jacksonville that perform for me that can use some help in promoting and getting education into the other field of singing.
Harry, just know that for this particular grant, anyone who's applying, who's submitting an application, has to live and work, so do the project in the 4 counties that we fund: Lake Orange, Osceola, and Seminole.
That's, I understand, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I've only done events only in Orange County for 20 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just get nervous when you start going rogue and saying Tampa and Jacksonville.
No, it's just that I know like was what March 18th we did something in Tampa, and there is a need for events and artists out there.
Yep,
Absolutely. So you have to, I recognize those artists, and if there's any help that we can give through the state grant, which I already shared to them, to communicate with the state and see.
Yep, absolutely. Are there any more questions on this grant process and individual artist grants, navigating any of the technology, questions about United Arts in general that we can help answer? I know I didn't do like a big introduction of who United Arts is, but we do have, other services and resources that we can connect you to if anyone's interested. We'll make sure that we answer all your guys' questions first.
If no one
You
has
all-
an immediate question, oh, nope, there we go.
You mentioned something about getting paid for your time. What did you mean by that?
Make sure when you're filling out your budget that you include an artist fee line. These grants can help pay for your time that you spend on your project. Think of it as income. These grants are supported by, again, the National Endowment for the Arts, but the ultimate funding was the American Rescue Plan Act. And so this is a way to get some of that recovery funding in your hands for the creation of new work. So don't forget to budget in your time into the project.
Is there a standard amount that they normally ask for, or that they would normally be like looking for an artist to suggest? I mean, obviously all of the mediums are different and would probably be priced differently, contingent upon the work or whatever the individual decides. But is there like a standard number though for that?
Mark, there's not. I would say, whatever you feel comfortable with. Know that the maximum award is $5,000, and we know that that is not anywhere near the value of your time that you guys put into these projects. So you can put all 5,000 into your artist fee and have a one-line budget that just says, this is what I'm doing, and I am paying myself for this, and that is 100% okay. No one is going to bat an eye at that.
Okay, that's beautiful. No, I mean, I obviously won't do that, but I'm just saying because unlike like some other artists, like sometimes they do have a supplemental income, like whether they have like a different job that they have, and then there's those of us who only survive from our art only. You get what I mean? So I kind of just wanted to ask that question because I would be one of those individuals who don't have necessarily a supplemental income. So the time and resources that I utilize for something like this would be coming straight from art, like from my back from the beginning. So that's kind of where I was going.
Yeah, absolutely. And United Arts' goal and our mission is to build that healthy and vibrant ecosystem. And that includes individual artists being able to make a living and having a valued and fulfilled life by being an artist. We want to make sure that artists aren't always having to think about what's that next side gig. If they want to be a full-time artist, this community should value their work as a full-time artist. And so, if you want to max out that $5,000 saying this is just paying for my time, again, no one will bat an eye at that. It's all about making sure that we start building a culture that values our creatives in this community. And this is a big part of this grant.
Got it. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Like for my thing about the tablet lessons, is there a demand for the credentials of the teachers?
Harry, we are asked to evaluate again because this is coming through the NEA. Our application criteria has to include artistic excellence and artistic merit. That is mandated by the federal government for any National Endowment for the Arts fund. So you will have to show that the training that you're undergoing is being taught by those who have a certain degree of excellence or training in that field. So you don't want to put in your application that you are coming to me for classical Indian singing.
Okay.
You'll need to show that who you're getting your training from has that recognized excellence and merit in his or her arts practice and teaching to be able to be sharing that skill.
Okay. Yeah, I got two. One is teaching at Valencia College and the UCF, The other one is a vocal. Two different people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, anything else?
Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions about this grant program or navigating the grants portal, about United Arts in general?
So, I mean, in terms of like the grant itself, right? There's so many different projects that people are interested in pursuing, and it would be amazing if all of them could be fulfilled. But given that the budget is $5,000 for the grant, there is the single grant for the project, correct? So only more or less one of them could be approved for funding.
No, so the maximum request is 5,000, and that's for a grant. We are putting 100,000 towards this entire pool. So we'll be able to award roughly 20 grants, depending on if everyone asks for the full funding amount. So we'll be looking to fund about 20 projects.
That's phenomenal. Awesome. Thank you so much. And as you were saying earlier, like artist fees, collaborative artist fees for people we want to showcase from within the 4 counties, those can all be itemized and curated towards the project.
Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I think this is a very educational part of this to help us get going. Now,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Happy
this is
to do it.
Is this going to be once a year, or this is just for this time and that's about it?
Nope, Harry, individual artist grants are going to hopefully become a permanent part of our funding portfolio. So we'll be looking to do a round of individual artist grants every year.
Okay, we need more artists here. Yeah, we're running short after this COVID. You know, so it's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
I definitely want to remind everyone to please reach out to us if you have any questions. We're a resource to the community. I don't know so much about the grant portion of things. If you happen to reach out to me, I might just redirect you right back to Elyse. But if you have any questions about marketing or anything about Orlando at Play, which I had mentioned in the beginning, definitely reach out to me. I can take the time to help you set up your profiles to make sure that we're marketing your performances, your exhibits, anything that you have public facing that we can help you market. We would love to help you guys market that. So anything you need help on, don't hesitate to reach out to me for that. And again, to reach out to Elyse about these grants, because we are here to help you.
I also want to plug the Diverse Leadership Board pipeline. If any of you all are interested on serving on the board of different arts organizations within our funding area, one of the things that we've launched recently is the Diverse Leadership pipeline, and you can get to that from our website. And that is create a common application for a number of our cultural institutions within the area. And when you fill out that application, you'll be able to see the different profiles of, I think at last check, there were 20 some organizations who had filled that out. You can select which ones you are interested in getting involved with, and it'll send your information to them. So know that if you're thinking about how do I become a decision maker with the Orlando Ballet or French or the opera or Central Florida Community Arts or, INSEAN, this is a great way to link to that and to those open opportunities. I think at last count, there are about 600 open board positions, and we want to make sure that artists are a part of that decision-making process for our cultural institutions. So definitely, if you're thinking about what does it look like to start building some of those leadership roles in your network, think about applying via that diverse leadership pipeline.
That pipeline, also, once you get placed with a board, we offer training and leadership through Edith Bush. So if you're a little bit wary about, I don't know how to be a board member, we have training for that, and we put you through that training to make sure that you are a fantastic resource.
I'd love to be in the Edith Bush training program, and I'm gonna give an open invitation to everybody on this call here today. I do a few events in Orange County here, and if you want to perform, whether you want to sing or you want to dance or do magic or arts, whatever it is, my email is on there, Indian Horizon of Florida, or you can get out to Elyse and join us and see where to go from there. I am ready, willing, and able to join your board if you need to, if you have a board. And, you know, I've been doing a musical program for 20 years in Orlando here. And so I'd like to be part of your board if we need to.
Yeah, I just want to address a quick question really quick in the chat about do we contact us via the website or the email? If you are on the grants page and if you're looking at that table, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see my contact information, including my email and my direct line. But let me see. I'm also going to drop it in the chat for everyone. And this phone number is my direct line in the office. So you can contact me at either of those, and we will, or I will get back to you. I will say, calling is always the better option. If you need a quick reply, give me a call. If I don't pick up, leave a voicemail. I will answer those first. My inbox looks crazy at the moment. So any questions you have, much better to call. You'll either get me or you'll get my voicemail and it will be answered. Not that I won't answer my emails, but less chance of them getting lost amongst all of the other work that's also happening in there right now.
Got it. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Elyse. I'm driving, headed to the Youth Poetry Slam. We partnered with Diverse Word tonight, and we're going to do Youth Poetry Slam at the Penthouse on the 30th floor to try and send a group of poets to the Brave New Voices. So we're trying to put together a youth collective of poets in Central Florida to send to San Francisco for a huge competition, poetry slam. So I'm just saying that to say, you know, thank you all for your time and your efforts. I'm driving, gotta go ahead and end the call though, and I will reach out to you two on a later occasion. And yeah, thank you so much.
Hey, as a poet, please reach out to me. My email address in there. I need to talk to you if you can write some songs. We were able to make some good music singers out of your poetry.
Yeah, no worries. I'll get with Elyse and they will give me your information, but I have to go so I don't kill my family. Thank you all so much.
Take care, drive safe, God bless.
Yeah, right, have fun tonight.
Thank you so much. All right, bye now.
I would love to hear if any other participants have some awesome projects that they want to share among us, just so that we can all kind of hear about them and get a little bit of inspiration, because Harry's got some great things going on. Marquise had a couple of great things going on. I'd love to know what else you guys are doing in the community, but I also understand if we've got more important questions going on, go ahead and continue to bring those up.
Well, what I'm working on is getting going again of getting back on television. So all the artists performing for me and my events, to bring them back on the screen. That's what I used to do before. I used to host a TV show for 8 years. All the events, we record the artists performing and then we put them on television. So people used to come from New York and Canada to witness their grandchildren performing on stages at our Holy Festival. And it was so much to hear when they called me and say, hey, my granddaughter, my grandson performing at your event, you know, and they come just to support them and they bring family and friends to these events. So I'm getting ready to get going again on that, buying new computers, new camera, and the whole 9 yards. So, you know, promote the youth in our community and make them proud of who they are, what they have done in their community here. You know,
I love
so
hearing that.
that's what we have been doing. You know, but COVID, prior to COVID and the recession, I had to stop my TV show, camera get old, computer get old. So I'm trying to replace all of that right now. You know, and then get going.
Yeah, absolutely, Harry. Anyone else want to share what they're, working on or thinking of, or any other part of their creative process?
Well, I was mentioning a showcase, and I'd love to get it itemized and like a whole capstone to send to you all. So I'm also driving at the moment, so I just want to say thank you so much for all the information, and thank you for having such an open line of communication for this grant initiative. So I'll be sure to get that to you because I'm very excited about how all of these different projects are even going to roll out, and not to discount what I'm going to be working on as well. So thank you again. Thanks so much. And look forward to reaching out to y'all.
Look
Hey,
forward to seeing it.
yeah, Halda, if you're into the movie business, I'd love to have you on September 2nd at the Apopka Amphitheater. We're having India Fest, a musical fest at Arts and Craft. And then May 6th, I'm having Indian Heritage Day, mark the heritage of when our grandparents left India 1838 to Guyana. So those are could be some acting and some arts and craft and get going from there. But September 2nd, it'd be good if you can come and record it for me.
Yeah, I can potentially have a whole universal audio recording set up with everything. So I can reach out to Elyse and all and get your information in the chat. But as for now, I'll have to get my focus back on the road. So thank you all so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Be safe.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I just wanted to thank Elyse and the team in United Arts for putting the focus back on individual artists. And to me, it says that the value of art isn't dependent on what type of a project it is. Art can be a solitary endeavor. The message that you're sending is that the value of artists on their own is just great as some sort of something that has to do with a community project. So one is not greater than the other. And I've been thinking of that for the past decade and waiting for this to happen. And that's why independent of in my grant application, I'm just excited that this is happening. It's just, to me, it's the right message to send.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited that you're excited, Reed.
I paint every day. If anybody wants to come out to the studio, it's 108 East Orlando Street, 32804. I do abstract paintings, portraits, live painting. So if you want me at your festival, Mr. Singh, to do some live painting, just let me know.
That's $1 million question there, because you being there, you can demonstrate to all the younger people that how important it is to capture that art and the vision.
Exactly.
Because,
to inspire.
Yes.
To inspire, to put energy out into the world that's going to be loved and create more creatives.
Yeah. that your art should be displayed pretty much at every show we have in the community. So we have, look out to my website and you will see events that we are involved in, and there are more events that's not on there. It's just that the guy designing my flyer, I was not pleased at what they grafted out, so I didn't post them on there yet.
I understand.
But it'd be
But
good.
yeah, I love painting live at festivals. So
That'd be great.
just
You can sell some pictures right there, or some paintings right there.
usually,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Quick question. Are any of you left on the call interested in being a teaching artist, or are you a teaching artist already?
I'm a teaching artist. I do not teach within an organization. I do individual. I mean, I teach privately, but then I also teach at different organizations while traveling. But it's a one workshop here, one workshop there. I teach workshops mostly.
Yeah, so for those who are interested in being a teaching artist or who currently are, one of the things that we also do besides our granting and marketing is we have an arts education component. And Beatrice, my cohort, is looking at what does art education look like across the lifespan. And she's putting together a roster of individual teaching artists who might be interested in teaching workshops at community centers, at assisted living facilities, with after school programs, and there would be funding, another funding stream for artists in that space. So if that's something you're interested in, again, reach out and I can connect you guys to Beatrice to explore what that might look like. But I just want to make sure that you guys were aware that that could be another way to diversify revenue if that's something that you're looking into or are interested in.
What do you teach, Ruben?
It's Orit. I teach pastel art. I'm a pastel painter, and I teach pastel artists pastel painting mostly to students at pastel societies. I do demonstrations and teaching at pastel society. And a demonstration is an education about the pastel medium as a component of my project.
That's awesome, because it's one field that I see that many families are neglecting, is kids that's a little bit what should I say, not in the sense handicap, but they might not grow up Down syndrome. They can sing, and they can draw. You can teach them to sing and draw and play music, and you'll be surprised. I have one artist like that. I've encouraged a mom, and she's doing very well. And sometimes she's a bit shy, but the encouragement, get her, she's singing on stage with me. And it makes a big difference. So that can brings up some people's life very, very much.
Yeah, I just want to touch on one last question before we kind of wrap this up for the evening that popped up into the chat, and it says, what disciplines does the teaching opportunity cover? Again, that covers a very wide range of disciplines that all would be covered. One of the things that we want to make sure of is if our students and our artists have diverse disciplines, that our community is able to experience all of that. So how are we creating access to diverse opportunities to be able to explore and create shared learning experiences that we normally wouldn't be able to have? So again, when it comes to, reaching out, if you want me to connect you with Beatrice, know that, it's still that very wide range of what's covered under that funding opportunity as well.
Ruben, sometimes if you have students that are having a hard time focusing, they can get into meditation, and then that will bring them closer to get their work done. Back to you.
A lot
Thank
of the
you.
public schools are doing that these days too, bringing meditation into the curriculum to center a child so they can completely absorb what's being taught to them.
Yeah, I can help you with teachers to help with yoga and meditation if you need to. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to be respectful of everyone's time this evening. And I just want to say thank you all so much for joining Laura and I. We love being able to connect with you all and to share and to learn from what you guys are doing. So thank you for spending tonight with us. As you guys are working through these applications, as Laura stated earlier, do not hesitate to reach out. We are here to help. It is my job to help facilitate you all submitting an application successfully. And so we want to make sure that we are able to provide both that technical assistance with the platform, as well as, helping you guys think and brainstorm and connect to resources, about the different opportunities that we have. So feel free to reach out and continue reaching out. I'd love to hear from all of y'all, and I really hope to see all of your names in the submitted file when applications are due. And just as a quick reminder, they are due Sunday, April 23rd at 11:59. And I will be in the office until Friday at 5. So that will be the last time to get any kind of questions answered. I will say I will be checking in over the weekend to make sure that there aren't any technical issues with the portal. So if something were to go down and the grant portal would crash, we would definitely take that into consideration of when people would be able to submit and what that does for the deadline. So just know I will be keeping an eye on that for y'all. I don't know how many have typically applied because it has been a decade for this. I can tell you right now that there are a number of applications in the draft folder. Last when I checked this morning, there were about 25. But that being said, do not let that from keeping you, or do not let that keep you from throwing your hat in the ring, because you never know who is just checking it out and deciding, oh, maybe this isn't for me, and who's actually going to submit it. So, work through those applications. You guys have some great projects you're working on, and I look forward to seeing what everyone comes up with.
Well, thank you very much. I haven't looked at it or haven't started yet, but I'll have to work on it this week and make some things happen there. I
Yes,
have a few
taxes
projects I'm working on.
and this application. Very important things to do this weekend if you haven't already done your taxes, because those are also due so soon.
Taxes first.
Yeah. So, all right, my dear, all my friends, thank you and good night, and see you guys later.
Yeah,
Take care.
everyone
Thank
have
you.
a great evening.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Lisa
Bye.
and Laura, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Elyse
all.
and everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Great job. I'll talk to you later.
Yep. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, you will. Bye.
Yep. Bye.